Hey, it's Jeff with K31 Sports, and welcome back to another edition of Milsurp Rifle. And today we're going to go over the K31. The K31 rifle that was made to replace the Schmidt-Rubin. The K31 got its name from carbine or shorter rifle, which is what the Swiss were trying to accomplish by producing the K31. They wanted to reduce the overall length of the rifle that they had, which was the Schmidt-Rubin. And troops were issued this rifle in 1931, so hence the name. Carbine, 1931, the K31. This rifle shoots a 7.5 by 55 cartridge. Now, I'm going to show you Swiss-made ammo as well as, what you can use to hunt with today by Privy Partisan. We're going to shoot both. This would be what you would find. The manufacturer was made specifically for this rifle, or this ammunition was made specifically for the rifle by the Swiss. And of course, our old favorite, Privy Partisan, great soft point ammunition, terrific for the field use. So we're going to fire both. We're not going to do a comparison today. We're just going to shoot them both and let you see how the rifle reacts. But note that this, if you see this on the, on a shelf, this is probably what you want to use if you want to get really accurate. This is a full metal jacket round, and as you can see, it's a different design in that you notice the bullet is kind of a nickel color. It's a silver wash color, unlike a copper full metal jacket. And this ammo, I gotta tell you, is very accurate. Of course, shooter has everything to do with it, but this round specifically is probably one of the most accurate rounds I've ever fired. So if you find it, locate it on the shelf, buy it, don't hesitate. That's what it looks like. There's a box, it is open. I'll show you a full box. This is a full box, 591-1100. And this is a 60 round brick, but this stuff is fantastic. Now, it's made for the gun, and the gun, as we'll go over, is an extremely accurate piece. But anyway, I just wanted to show you the gun. Anyway, just want to show you the ammo. Now, when troops would have been issued this rifle, they would have been issued a bayonet, and we had one. We didn't bring it today. I apologize. We'll film it for you so you can see it. I'll put that in a clip between here. And they also would have been issued a cleaning kit. Now, the cleaning kit would look like this, and inside this kit you'll find oil, solvent, a pull-through, chamber brush, and a few other accessories. One piece, if I can dig it out of here, that I find extremely clever is this little piece. This is for checking your chamber, looking down, make sure that you got the bore clean. It's actually a mirror. So there's a mirror here that the troop would have hold it directly down into the bore cavity and looking, or into the chamber cavity, and then looking down the bore, make sure that he got his bore clean enough so, it would shoot properly. Neat little item. I've never seen anything like this with any other rifle. But a really neat item. Now, one thing you'll find, when you find a K31 on the shelf, most of them are in phenomenal condition. And that is attributed to this grease that the Swiss use. This grease that they used maintained bluing better than anything ever. There is a name for this grease. You can Google it. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But this stuff did a phenomenal job keeping these guns in good shape. So another neat little factoid for you. And of course, you'll have a pull-through string and solvent as well. A lot of these guns did also come with muzzle caps. You can find those online. Some are like a brass color, some are a silver color, and they fit right over the muzzle, and they protect also the front sight. So neat little piece. I don't have one of those, but that's what it would look like. Now, today, what we have, we've got two K31s in a walnut stock, and we've got one K31/43, which is a sniper variant, which is in a beechwood stock. And you'll find these guns come in either beechwood or walnut. The Swiss did consider making this gun in like a laminate, like you'll see a lot of the K98s, if you will, at the time. But they didn't like it. It didn't pass their inspections, so they kept with walnut and beech. Beech being a lighter color wood, both woods are extremely hard and durable. And the one that we have today, one of the walnuts, is a little dinged up. And you're going to find a lot of these stocks on the K31 to have a lot of dings in them. And you're going to wonder what in the heck happened there. Well, there was two things. The way the Swiss used to drill, they would actually kick the buttstock. Also, the environment had a lot of snow and so forth. So the boots that the Swiss wore were very, very rugged and durable. It was actually a piece that fit over the boot itself. And when they would kick the snow off or do their drills, which included kicking the rifle, it did end up putting dents on the wood. So I would urge you, don't steam those out. Leave them in there. It's a part of history. Sometimes you'll find them where halfway up the wood will be almost a whitish color, or the stain has left it, and then the rest is terrific. And that's where the gun had been left in a snow condition. So part of history. Leave it the way it is. With any milsurp gun, I urge you not to strip it, but hey, it's your gun. If you want to clean it up, do so. I just want to give you the history of why it would look like that. We're going to pull the stacking apart, and let me bring up the walnut that I'm talking about that has the dings. So here we have the K31 walnut stock that I was referring to, that you can find a lot of dent marks in the rear of the stock. And again, these were caused by the troop, or the Swiss soldier at the time would have actually either been kicking the snow off of this rifle, or during the way that they drilled. And I don't know exactly what they did, but I know that it was caused by the way they drilled. Would have kicked the stock and caused a lot of those marks. So I say leave them in, and just keep the piece of history. Also, if you buy one of these, do yourself a favor and take the butt plate off. Some of these guns, because the K31 was a Swiss issued gun, and Swiss were issued that gun for life, when you take this butt plate off, a lot of times you'll find the original soldier's troop tag in there. It'll have his name, his troop, and sometimes his home address will still be on that tag. It's kind of a plastic tag, looks like a piece of paper. Most of the times what I've seen is the writing to be with a pencil, and you'll find them right under this butt plate. I don't have an example of that for you today. I'll try and add one to the clip, but neat piece of history. I would put it back, keep it in there, and that way it stays with the gun if you are so lucky to find one. Not all of them will have that. Now the K31 action is a straight pull action, whereas the bolt will rotate on its own when you rack it. So if we pull this bolt straight back, and of course it's going to stay open on your last shot. So the gun right now thinks it's on its last shot, so it'll stay open. I'm going to trick it, and you'll see, if you watch closely, bolt will rotate. Okay, so what that allows the shooter to do is simply pull the bolt back and close it forward again in a very fast motion, so as not to have to. Normal bolt actions, you would pull the bolt up, pull it back, push it back, and turn it. With this particular setup, all you need to do, pull it straight back. Again, I got to push the follower down and close it. And you've loaded the rifle and unloaded the rifle that quick. So almost as fast as a semi-automatic, maybe not as fast, but a neat way of trying to get speed down range. Also, with this gun, you'll notice this ring piece. This is actually part of your firing pin, and to put this gun on safe, we would pull the ring. I'm going to do this as if you were in the shooting position. We're going to pull this ring, and turn it upward, okay, or to the left, and then reposition it. Now you'll notice that the ring is now in a horizontal position and not in a perpendicular position. So when you have the rifle in this position, you now have the gun on safe. And of course, gun will not fire. We know the chamber's empty. I'm going to do this for demonstration purposes. We pull the ring back, turn it downward, and notice it is now in a perpendicular position. And of course, had there been a round in, gun would have went off. So that gives you an idea how to put the gun in safe. Okay, always important, know how the gun shoots and know how to put it in safe. Now we were looking at the rear sight. If you look at the rear sight, like most all milsurp rifles, it's an elevator type sight. And again, being a European country, you'll find these marks on the elevator, and those are in meters. So as we move that sight upward, we're now shooting at a further distance or a graduated distance set for meters. So interesting way to do it. You can see the sight now is in a further position, and of course as we move the rear sight upward, we are now aiming the gun at a distance that's further away. So neat way to do it, just know how that works. Now something that's very interesting, most milsurp guns that you'll find do not have ways to adjust the windage being left or right adjustments. You usually are stuck with just up and down. US rifles made during World War II all had a way to adapt for windage, which you really need to get the gun zeroed in. This gun does have a way to get you in the windage, and they do it with the front sight. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know if this is the only gun set up this way. It's the only gun I know that works this way. But if you look at the rear sight, what you'll see is a slot on a diagonal cross. So as we move the front sight either up or down, we're actually moving the picture, the sight picture, left and right. A very clever way to adjust for windage, but know that with this gun you can adjust your windage. These guns were very accurate. The Swiss made this with extreme tolerance. They don't measure as we do with quarter clicks or with MOAs, but know that at 300 meters they wanted this gun to perform within inside a baseball size target. So that's pretty respectable. I've heard, and I believe it's true, had this gun been utilized in World War II, it would have been the most accurate gun of the time. Of course, Swiss did not get engaged, so it can't make that claim to fame, but crazy accurate gun. Not that heavy, and like I tell you, all milsurp guns, if you find one on the rack, you want to get it, because these will only increase in value. Now, I'm going to show you the sniper variant that we have, which is the K31/43, and let's go over that a little bit. So, this is the K31/43, which is a sniper variant to the K31. It's essentially the same identical action, and of course the only difference being is they give you a telescopic sight. These were only like 3 power, they're not that powerful, but pretty neat design. If you look at this, what you would do, you actually have a second graduated sight. There's your rear sight, your main rear sight, and then you've got this one. So you can actually get a visual as to where the target will be quickly by using your irons. And then you flip this up, and now you've got your telescopic sight. And you would look through, I'm not going to be able to show you on this camera system, but if you look through here, you will see through the scope and have a sight picture on a scope. Now the crosshairs on this are actually a triangle in shape, and then there's some hash marks over here for calculating windage or wind or whatever the case may be. But neat setup. These are extremely rare, very hard to find, but they are out there. And as you can see, this is a good example of a beechwood stock. Notice that the color of the wood is much lighter than the walnuts, but beech is a very, very hard wood. Now this gun obviously wouldn't have went through drills because this gun was made for sniping, so you won't find any of those boot dings on this one. And I did check, unfortunately, no troop tag, but neat piece. Just thought I'd share it today. You know, so you give you a visual of what one looks like. We all can find these on Google, but always good to see one in one's hands to see exactly what it looks like and how it operated. So anyway, if anybody has any questions or wants to see a close-up of this or whatever, just feel free to shoot me a note, and I'm happy to share. We're going to shoot all these guns today, so you're going to see how they all operate. And I'm going to be using both ammunitions, the Privy as well as the Swiss made stuff. Anyway, let's go shoot. So we're going to start off with the walnut stock K31, and as I always tell you guys, when shooting at any target or you're at the range, whether using a handgun or a rifle, always wear your safety glasses and your ear protection. So safety first. Glasses, earmuffs, I'm going to use the Swiss made ammo for the rifle, and again we're going to use the old walnut. Let's see, let's get some. I did set up some apples down there. I have a second camera running so we can pick up the impact shots. Hopefully it don't miss. I'm going to do a 3-shot group. The Swiss, by the way, would have had a stripper clip. I do not have an example of that. It's a very unusual clip. The stripper clip that they used would have wrapped around the front of the round as well as the back of the round, and they would have been able to load 6 in one time. We're just going to do one at a time. Going hot. Now 7.5 by 55 Swiss is a 308 equivalent. Very close to the 308, not much different, and very powerful round. Virtually no recoil. Going hot. Notice the top eject. The casing will shoot almost extremely straight up. Out of ammo. Now, as I'm cycling through it, you'll notice how smooth this is. Unlike some of the other bolt action rifles that we've done in the past, where you will get a little bit of chamber adaptation or tough to close a bolt or whatever, this gun, you won't get that at all. Hats off to the Swiss. This is a phenomenal piece. It's a time piece if you ask me. And you will see a lot of guys will use this in shooting competitions. Just so accurate and sweet to shoot. Let's see if we can get that apple. Beautiful gun. Now let's go ahead and try the PPU. This is 174 grain soft point. Let's see if it shoots any differently at all. I'll give you the feedback and let you know if the recoil changed or accuracy seems to have changed. I'm just shooting an apple, so I'm not papering anything, but let's see if we can hit one. Again, one round at a time. We'll load 3. Pulling hot. Not the same recoil. Recoil was very similar, not much different, so I'm sure it was just my offhand shooting was off, but great round, excellent rifle. Thank you for tuning in to Milsurp Rifle, and catch us again next week. Thank you. One last thing I did want to discuss with you guys now that we had a chance to shoot these, had a good time with it. I'm sure you've often heard the term all matching. And what all matching refers to is the serial numbers that are found on the gun all match. Now a lot of times if it's a 4-digit code or a 6-digit code or whatever it may be, you may only find the last 2 digits on the part. That's typical of a lot of German pieces. This being a Swiss piece, you'll find that being the case also on some of the smaller parts. But one thing I didn't mention that I did want to tell you guys, the gun, as I mentioned, can be fed as a stripper clip down, can also be fed through the box. And the box is serial numbered. So if you're going to buy one of these and you pick one off the rack, take a look. It's not a deal breaker, but the gun will be more valuable should that number match the receiver. These boxes are easily lost, or since it's a removable part, a different one could have been slipped in. And then you don't have a non-matching gun. Gun will still function, won't affect it whatsoever, but always good to have the original part that came with the gun. I just wanted to point that out so that you guys were aware. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.